This is Breaking Truth Network in collaboration with Democracy Now! Tonight, a global crisis no one can ignore. From Gaza to Sudan, starvation is being weaponized and international law is on the line.
This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Nermeen Sheikh in New York with Amy Goodman in San Francisco. We were unable to reach Ayad Amawi, representative of the Gaza Relief Committee, who we were speaking to earlier. We sadly lost audio with him. We'll keep trying to reach him, and if we do, we'll go to him. Amy?
We'll turn now to conditions on the ground in Gaza as ceasefire talks are underway this week.
President Trump's proposed peace plan says aid can only enter Gaza once Hamas accepts.
So famine is one of the simplest problems in the world to resolve. Historically, famines have been caused by all sorts of things like drought, and crop failure, economic failures, etc. But all current famines, every episode of mass starvation in the last 30 years or so has been man-made, the result of political or military action. That said, among other things, that starvation of civilians may be a war crime, that humanitarian aid should be provided to those who are facing starvation no matter what, and the UN Security Council should be notified and should act whenever this happens.
But tonight, our guest makes it clear that condition could mean millions starve. This is a choice: feed the people or starve them. And as Alex warns, children in Gaza who survive will live with irreversible cognitive and physical harm.
Let me ask you, Alex, before we go to Sudan, in the event that a ceasefire is reached, what exactly needs to happen? What would restorative justice entail? What does Israel and the rest of the world owe to the survivors of starvation and to the families of those who starved to death in Gaza?
And so there is also an obligation on Israel, and on the rest of us. And I'm actually publishing today an article in Jewish Currents on this very topic, on the obligation on the Jewish community as a whole globally to repair that social damage that is done to the victims of this planned starvation.
His warning is stark. This is not just about Gaza. The same weapon of famine is now ripping Sudan apart.
So Sudan's famine has many different layers going back many years, including ecological crisis, a very distorted, malfunctional economy, especially a food economy, the legacy of past wars, which have left many people destitute, reliant on food relief, and most particularly the devastation, including the mass looting and the use of starvation as a weapon. By the UN appeal is only 25% funded.
Enter U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Arab powers like Egypt and Saudi Arabia, pushing for a ceasefire. But even if achieved, Sudan's devastation spans thousands of miles. This is not Gaza. Turnaround will take months.
The town where I was working in felt like a ghost town. There were some people who had moved back, and the children that we were caring for in that hospital were suffering from preventable illness, and there was a large proportion of severe acute malnutrition, and along with the complications that come with it that Professor Alex de Waal was talking about. Children who are malnourished often have severe immunocompromise. They're more likely to get disease.
8 million Sudanese face famine-level hunger. Entire communities surrounded by farmland, yet starving. Why? Because warlords and world powers weaponize food as a tool of domination.
And that does it for today's show. I'm Nermeen Sheikh with Amy Goodman. This is Democracy Now!
The weaponization of famine is genocide by another name. Gaza, Sudan, two epicenters of man-made catastrophe, and the world cannot look away.